So then now that we know how to use norm dist to find the area underneath the normal curve, then the obvious question is, can we go backwards? Well, at least it's obvious to me. So, and the answer is yes, you can. So we're going to assume that x is normally distributed. We're going to find the following, include an appropriately shaded and labeled picture, your favorite thing. So the mean is 75, sigma is equal to 8. We're going to find the x value that cuts off the bottom 33%. Okay, so let's do it two different ways. Let's find it with StatCrunch and with Excel. So I'm going to go back to StatCrunch, to Stat, Calculators, Normal. Let me make it smaller so I can see our picture here. So, okay, the mean was 75, so let me put 75 in. Standard deviation was 8, so I'll put 8 there. And now I want to set up the probability. The probability is actually equal to, was it the bottom 33%? Okay, so, oops, there's the little Java. 0.33, compute, and then it finds the value. See, you don't have to just go one direction. So before we were typing in an x value right here, and then it would give us the probability over on the right. But now we can actually reverse that. We can type in the probability over here on the right and hit compute, and it'll find the x value that would be true for. All right, yet again, I'm going to have to take a snapshot of this. So I do. This was 7.2 example 4. Export. Great. So now when I go to, oops, my StatCrunch right there, my results, there it is. And I can click on it and copy. Yep, run it, just in case that happens. Copy. And then I'm going to go back to Excel. All right, and I'm going to make a new tab for 7.2 example 4. I'm going to put it in right in here. All right, so there we found it right there, 71.4807. So StatCrunch tells us it's that x is equal to 71.4807. Oh, if I could type that right. All right, now how will Excel find it? Let's see here. So the thing is, you got to keep in mind that you need the left area, which they gave to us was 0.33. So Excel will find the x value for a left area, no problem. You type norm dot inverse. Now remember, if you have old version Excel, it's just norm inverse. But if you have the new version of Excel, it's dot inverse, dot inv. And then you tell it the probability, which is 0.33, or in my case, I can tell it cell B6, comma, the mean was 75, comma, standard deviation was 8. Enter. And there you go. All done. And it actually has more decimal places and is a little bit quicker with Excel, but of course, you have to know what you're typing into that formula. Always keep in mind that that formula takes the left area only. So when they say, give us the probability right here for the norm inverse function, they want the left tail area. All right, so we're done with that. I will copy and paste it in. Oops. There it is. Awesome. All right, now we get to do it again and again. So we're going to go back to the GRE scores that we were working with earlier. The GRE scores, remember, had a mean of 1066 and standard deviation of 191. Suppose Columbia wants to only accept the top 10% of all test takers. What should be their cutoff score? Okay, so let me go back to Java, my StatCrunch right here. Open StatCrunch. Go to Stat, Calculators, Normal. Okay, so the mean was 1066, standard deviation is 191. I don't want to put in the x value here because that's what I'm looking for, but I want to put in 0.10. Now you think this is correct, but it's not. Columbia is an Ivy League school. They're not talking about the bottom 10%. They want the top 10%. And the trouble is this little left arrow right here. This is a less than or equal to the way I found it. So if I want to find a greater than or equal to, I need to switch it with that pull-down menu. And again, tell it 0.10. Click compute. There it is. That's the top 10%. And you can see that they need a score of 1,310.77. All right, let me copy that. Take a snapshot. This is 7.2 example 5A. Great. I'm going to open, or I was going to try to open in a new window here. Ugh, no, wouldn't let me. That's all right. All right, so I click on this and I click copy, and then I can go paste it into my next bit of spreadsheet. 7.2 example 5A. All right. Now, how do we do it with Excel? Right, so we can see the StatCrunch answer is that the score has to be 1311, right? I mean, because you can't get 0.7 right on a test, so it has to be rounded. All right, so Excel, the thing to keep in mind is that you were given that the right area was 0.10. But that means the left area, which is what you need for Excel, is equal to 1 minus that, which would be 0.90. All right, so then the score is equal to norm dot inverse, parentheses, and you want that left area. Excel doesn't have that feature like StatCrunch does where you can switch the arrow going the other direction. So you're going to have to always stick with the left, which means in this case it's 0.9. It's that big white region on the left. Comma 1066, comma 191. There you go. Same answer as StatCrunch, just a little bit harder to get. So, and if you want, you can round it. There you go, since that's what it must be. Awesome. There we go. Now I've pasted it into my notes. So for your notes, you want to, of course, draw a picture of the normal curve with the appropriate region shaded. And then you want to say what your score must have been and how you got it, right? So we got that score by, matter of fact, I could write it down. There we go. By norm inverse. Like that. Norm inverse. I guess I should write what it would be. Instead of B7, I should say what it was. It was 0.90, right? Because we had to have that left area. All right, so let me take that back in there. That way we've got a little bit more written down for our notes. I'm wondering, it occurs to me I didn't put the formula down for this one either, so I threw that one in there. There's more back up here, but it would be tedious to go back and do all that right now, but it doesn't hurt for your notes to write down how you got what you got. So this one back here was norm inverse 30.33, 75, comma 8. And then the one we just did is this one right here. All right, so now what about the next one? What about the 25th percentile? All right, well, to find that, you gotta think you could do it a couple ways. So if you're going to do it with Excel, all you do is change this to 0.25 and you'll have it, right? So let me go back to example 5, right? So I think I'll put this one in the same one here. Actually, no, I won't. I'll make it different just so you guys can follow along. Right, so I'm going to go back over here, make it its own sheet. So I'll cut 7.2 example 5B. All right, so the left tail area is given in this particular problem. It's 0.25 because it's the 25th percentile, right? It has to be. So all you need to do is tell it 0.25 for that first one. So you say equals norm dot inverse, and then you say 0.25, that's our left tail area, comma 1066, comma 191, close your parentheses, and there you got it. Okay. We assume StatCrunch will give it to us. We'll figure that out in a second. So that's how to do it with Excel. And of course, if you want to round it, you know, the actual score would be 938, right? Let me go back and paste that in. All right, so, oops, not there. for the percentile one. Right? Okay, so that's what the percentile thing is going to be. Now we got to find it with StatCrunch. So we found it with Excel. How can we do it with StatCrunch? Well, let's go find it. All right, so go to my StatCrunch. I'm going to open StatCrunch in a new tab. Let's see if I can get this to work. All right, go to Stat, go to Calculators, go to Normal. All right, 1066. Oopsie. There we go. 191. And then I'm going to type in, this is a left area because it's a percentile, but I want 0.25. That's the percent to the left. Compute. There we go. And it's the same number we came up with before. It was 937.125 or 1725. All right, so I will take a snapshot of that, and I will call it 7.2 example 5b. Export. All right, so I saved it, so hopefully it should be over here in my results. It was very crafty of me to have one window have StatCrunch and have the other one have the results, right? All right, copy, and then we go here, and then I will paste it in. There it is. Make it a little smaller so we can see. Awesome. There we go. So you can see StatCrunch is saying it's 938 right there, 937 point whatever. Now, why didn't I make it 937? Well, no good reason. Just because you've got to have it. Actually, no good reason at all. I should probably have made it 937. So let me go back there. That was kind of silly of me. There are a couple things in stats that we must round up, but this is not one of them. So there we go. 937. Cool. And we've got our picture and everything's great. All right, so there's that one. Now, the last one. The middle 95%. Okay, so the middle is 95%. That means that there's 5% in each tail. Let me go draw a picture of this for you real quick. Okay, so here is this program mini tab. Again, don't worry about it. You don't have to have it, but I want you to see if the middle 90 is 95% and it's symmetric like it's supposed to be. That means there's 5% for the two tails put together, which means each tail individually is 0.025, right? All right, so keep that picture in mind. Matter of fact, we can kind of use that picture as our, and we don't need the y-axis. You don't care about that. Okay, so we can take this picture and put that in our notes as our drawing over here. Because the middle 95%, that means there's 5% in both tails, which means, again, there's 2.5% in each individual tail. Now you can see that mini tab, that program tells us what the answers are going to be, but we're going to have to go find them with StatCrunch and Excel. All right, with Excel, it's really easy to see that the left tail area is 0.025. So if you want to find the score on the left, you'd say in norm.inverse 0.025, 1066, 191, and you've got it. Now the one on the right, let me go back to mini tab real quick. On the right, over here is 0.025 to the right of it. So to the left of it, remember that middle region, the white region in the middle is 0.95. 0.95, 95%, plus 0.025 makes 9.975, 97.5%. So you take norm inverse 0.975, 1066, 191. Again, norm inverse takes the left area only. So you've got to find the left of that value on the right. So when you look at the graph, you think, okay, the middle's 95% in here. That's 95%, right? 0.95. And then over on the other side is 0.025. 0.95, 0.025 together make 0.975. So that's what you type in there. All right, I don't have time to find it with StatCrunch in this video, so that's where I'll pick up in the next one. But we found it with Excel. We found the two scores, and we could just round them. 692, it looks like, and 1440. So those are the two values when they're rounded. All right, I'll see you back here for finding them with StatCrunch.